You're listening to A to Z episode 90.
Today's guest is Cross Coburn, Ousted Grove City Councilman.
It's like they're trying to be too meta.
We're gonna make them an offer they can't refuse.
Much better.
Yeah. You can buy you a drink. You can well, I mean, he did pick out somebody we know.
Will you sidestep the question? That technology does not exist.
Hey everybody, what's up? I'm Zach. I'm here with my co-host Aaron.
Yo.
Welcome to A to Z Podcast, where we sit down with the folks that make Southeast Texas a better place to live.
If you're new to the show, thanks for checking us out. A to Z is available on all major podcast platforms with new episodes out weekly. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram, where we share updates, clips, and extra content.
Also, be sure to call or text 409-206-2971. That's 409-206-2971. We're taking voicemail, we're taking text, we're taking whatever you'd like.
We might shout you out during the episode.
Shout you out, play it.
If you leave a message, we'll play it. We don't care.
It could get really strange, but I hope it does.
Yeah.
But anyway, before we get into any of that strangeness, we're going to talk to Mr. Cross Coburn here.
Yeah, it was a very interesting episode. This is one of the ones that kind of stands out in the pack of all the episodes because it's very relevant. It's very topical to our area, and it was kind of a big deal in the news. You guys probably remember it. We'll get all into it in the episode, but we sat down with a guy who was just done dirty. You know, and we just go over this whole thing, and it's really cool. It was a great opportunity to hear it straight from the source about what happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can remember seeing this and being very confused about it, but it was a good time to get his take on it.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool to get to see kind of, I guess, a little bit of corruption or a little bit of pure plain small town politics.
Yeah, or at least at the very least just a bunch of saltiness. You know.
Well, yeah, so enjoy this episode with Cross Coburn.
Shit with rubber bands.
Please go get a permanent one time.
I would love to see you.
I'm gonna do it. Fuck it, I'm gonna do it. Y'all dare me? I'm gonna do it. Fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
I'm growing it. I'm gonna get a mullet like with shaved sides and a lightning bolt.
What Patrick Swayze movie is that?
I don't know, but then I'm gonna get my mullet perm. It's gonna be locks of just it's
Bring
gonna
it
be
back.
great.
Bring it back.
I'm gonna bring it back.
I need to see it all.
I don't think it's gonna be great.
I think all of this is already great.
Well, we might as well kick it off with that, with Aaron's perm. We're sitting with Cross Coburn. Welcome to the show.
Hello. How are you?
If anybody doesn't know Cross, we're gonna get into that. Because there's a nice long story to it.
I have a feeling this is going to be one of the episodes where we talk less and the guest talks more, and I'm fine with that because we don't know. That's what I was admitting to you before the show started.
We've never met you before. Like we don't know all the story. I just know that.
And we don't really know the circumstances around it, but I do know that you're a very young man and you were put on city council
and then ousted.
At 18, like that's ridiculous.
Like Roman style ousted. Yeah.
Hey, too, Brutus. So how does an 18-year-old become a city council member in the first place?
From really an early age, I guess just having a passion for government, which is, weird because most kids my age, whenever I was a kid, obviously we didn't really think about politics or religion or current issues or just what was going on in the world.
But that's what you were into.
Yeah, I was really into that actually.
You must have been in city council for sure. I mean, not city council, student council is what I meant.
I ran for student council once. Told everybody if they voted for me, I would give them cupcakes.
Oh no!
I won. My mom ran out of batter.
Oh no!
So I couldn't give anybody cupcakes. I did not win the next time around, obviously, but that's okay. I made up for it.
What do they say about campaign promises?
Campaign promises.
You try your hardest.
I ain't voting for him. He promised me cupcakes the first time, and god dang it, I ain't got my cupcakes.
Against the wall, man.
It's called compromise. They got to do it sometimes. But
or mini cupcakes. Anyway.
That'd be good. No, but that's what I was going for. Actually, no one was gonna get a full size cupcake. That's too much money. But history intrigues me. Our history really intrigues me. I just love looking at ancient civilizations, ancient ways of governance, the way that people lived back then, and then going into it as I got older, or I got more into the current events of the time. Because back then I had no idea what was going on in South America, where it happened, or what happened during the Vietnam War, the Korean War, just stuff like that. World War II was still very vague to me, just all these subjects. So as I was getting older, I got into just the current events, and that led me into politics. And right around then, I would just spend hours on my computer just researching, just looking up stuff, just out of fun. That was the weirdest part to me. It was like I genuinely just loved looking up stuff
about political systems.
About like the ways that ancient civilizations used to govern their people, matching it with the democracy that we have now today, and just looking, or the Roman style of governance, comparing it to the American style of governance, and a lot of similarities there to begin with. But
the Republic, right? We're both republics.
Yeah,
for now. But 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 that's really how it started. And then Harvey hit. Like it hit Port Arthur, Groves, Nederland, Port Neches extremely hard. Beaumont. Pretty much all around. Yeah, obviously. But where I live on a hill. I looked out my window, and the road that was down a ways, couldn't see it. It was completely. I was trapped on an island for like 4 days, and during the storm, I just thought to myself, I was like, see all the tweets, the Facebook posts about the Cajun Navy going out and saving people. Yeah, all the people from the city just volunteering to help. But God knows I was forbidden to leave on orders from my mother. But afterwards, I thought to myself, I was like, well, if I couldn't help out then, I wanted to help out some way. I hated just sitting on my toes and just looking at the posts that were being, thrown during the storm. So I wanted to act. And in part, because I already wanted to get involved in politics, to get involved with politics. I wanted to gain experience for what would be my career, and not that it was a perfect opportunity, but my hometown had just been hit by a terrible hurricane. Yeah. And it seemed like the city government in place was not doing anything to help, or the minimal that they could do, spending the least that they had to. So I just, with the lack of experience that I did have, as an 18-year-old, I decided, I didn't want to just sit on the sidelines. Yeah. I wanted to do something, and the most direct way that I thought I could do something about it, or at least try to help in any way, was to run for my city council in my hometown. Yeah. I thought, if I can do anything, then I can at least be a voice to the people that got hit, some of the people that got hit the hardest, because me and another councilwoman, Karen Tice, we had known each other even before she got on council, but her and my mom were friends, and so, we were friends by default. But, she takes me driving into my ward right after Harvey had hit, and then we drove through hers. And just the devastation. Walmart was completely underwater. Popeyes and Whataburger were still completely underwater. We drove up onto what is China Inn, to just seeing it completely surrounded with this, not black water, but you could see the oil,
nasty water.
The chemical water. It was ridiculous.
It's flood water that went through plants.
So after that happened, you were like, I'm gonna get on city council.
I couldn't just sit by anymore.
And what ward was it?
Huh? Ward 1.
Ward 1. So Harvey took place 2016?
Yeah.
And that was the year that all these city elections...
2017. Yeah.
And then all the city elections were happening in 2017.
Yes.
I was trying to get my timeline.
No, for sure.
So how did you get elected then? Just out of curiosity, you're talking about your...
Oh, yes.
Your little experience, all that, and...
As young as you are, yeah. Was there like
the man who was?
Because I just see a bunch of old folks sitting around and be like, I ain't voting for him, no nothing.
No, that's I won by default. No, that's okay. They can.
What, did nobody else run against you?
It was Jim Raisa, who was in Ward 1's position. He was, he was a fine guy. He's actually my cousin on my grandfather's side. But whenever I put my name on the ballot, I didn't know that it was pretty much the last day that you could put your name on the ballot, or I think it was close to the deadline. But I had been the only person that put his name on the ballot. So whenever Jim finds out, he decides that he wants to drop out a few weeks in, or a few weeks out, or I think it was a month out, and says that he wants he thinks a fresh pair of eyes could benefit the council, fresh blood, which is not the same opinion that anybody else shares. But that's fine, it's okay. I loved his spirit.
So he stepped down and basically handed you the election.
Yes, I won by default. Karen Tice comes to my house and tells me that I had won. I was in complete shock. I really did not think I was going to win.
Did you think that you were going to win at all?
No.
You think you were going to get close?
I was preparing to, run my own campaign, but at the time, it was.
How far away was this from like the actual election?
It was in August.
So
August of 2017. Yeah, whenever he told me, or whenever I got told that I just won by default. So, yeah,
because you were the last one to put in a ballot, and then he dropped out.
He dropped out, so there was no one else.
Did you immediately go to the council?
No.
So he had to finish his.
Yes, he finished his term until November 2017. Obviously, I got sworn in that night. I actually have pictures of that night. I don't know, but I look completely different in those pictures, and that's the funniest part of the night. I was wearing this, gray and black cardigan. I had my 4 girlfriends right there in the booth. My stepfather was sitting there. It was a very fun night, and then immediately as I sit on, at my seat, the mayor looks at me, turns to me, and says, congratulations for getting on or something. Just remember, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth, so listen twice as much. And I sat there. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to listen. I hope you have something of substance to say. He did not, but that's man, really how it started.
He granddaddied you, man.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily terrible advice.
I did not take it as terrible advice. It was pretty much it was the fact that I think a few weeks earlier, and I just remember this. I'm sorry, but there's another council member, Kyle Hoyer. He is Ward 4's council member. I'm going to get groceries one day at HEB. This is after I find out that I win. I think it's in the middle of October. And I get a call. Don't know who the heck from. And, it's from Kyle Hoyer telling me that, he's really excited to work with me. Yeah. He wants to offer me an olive branch of cooperation. And he hopes that, we can work together in the future. Very nice about it. And I just, for disclaimer, I'm pretty sure this is the guy who leaked my nudes to the media. So
we'll get to that.
But just wanted to put that out there. Because I don't know the way that he just it was fun.
Now, okay, I do want to touch on the guy that granddaddied you, the
mayor.
Didn't he get captured on video at one of the council meetings like a month ago, throwing somebody's camera?
He's gotten caught on a lot. Doing a lot. My
he has
attorney,
issues.
And it's just the way he goes about it. Because if you threaten his power, it just goes completely to his head, and I think it just a rage takes over because he does not like to be challenged. Whereas, no one likes to be challenged, but there is just, especially whenever you're in a leadership role, there is obvious ways to go about it, and just underhanding a camera that is obviously not yours to man and hitting him in the chest is unbecoming, if I can say, of a mayor who's been in office for 20 years, 2 decades.
Indeed. So he's been the mayor of Orange for 20 years?
Groves.
Yeah, Groves, sorry.
No, you're good.
Dude, are those next to
Get
each
it
other?
right, man. We're representatives of Southeast Texas.
Y'all live in Beaumont. Y'all should know every city in the Golden Triangle.
They're out that way there.
They're out there.
That's like the most Louisiana area of
Yeah, I agree. But it's not great.
Port Needle Groves.
But okay, so you go and sit down just because you got sworn in, but that was like kind of a formality. You didn't actually. Was that like at the time that the elections were done?
Yes. Yeah. This was November 14th, Tuesday or something. That's whenever I got sworn in, and that was that.
So November, you were in your job. Basically.
Yes, November, I was on council. That first night was my first meeting. Nothing really happened. It was a very calm first months.
Do you guys follow like parliamentary procedures and things when
very, very
loosely?
Not very loosely, very
poorly,
strictly.
Oh, strictly. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, no, I was just like looking for the word there. To them, it has not been as strict recently, but
obviously
they usually just go through the same. They have a very routine. They're very routine people.
Right.
They go through the same. They go through the same stuff pretty much every meeting.
What time do they have the city council meeting?
5:30.
How about
that's a great idea.
Weird.
Beaumont.
Weird. It's
that's cool. Look
Beaumont,
at that.
Beaumont likes to have their
they like to have theirs
council
at
meetings 2:00 on a Tuesday.
Yeah, 1:30.
Really?
When everyone's at work and can't come.
That's
voice their
and
opinions.
still doesn't work for us because a lot of people don't get off until 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And I hate that. No, I agree. No.
So was it kind of? I mean, being that you had not really had any experience in politics other than school politics, maybe, and you've done your studying, obviously, and probably once you knew you had it, you're going to start researching and asking questions. But was it kind of? I mean. Sitting there in charge in a way? Was it just like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I honestly did not think I would win my first time around. Whenever I did, I really did plan on stepping up to the plate. And I thought I did for the most part until everything got derailed. Yeah. But I wanted to, the only thing in my mind was the roads and the city being underwater halfway still. Like, and the fact that our city government acted as if everything was just hunky-dory.
Sure.
And, that goes for a lot of the city and federal governments around this country. Yeah. But that's fine.
So we were talking about the other city councilman who said he was going to hand you an olive branch and all those things. How else were you received that way by most of the city council members? Were a lot of them very friendly like that, or was it shade, or do you think it was just
like in the beginning?
Yeah, on the council, it's a semicircle. The city attorney, city attorney's right here. I sat right there. Ward 1 is Sidney Baden. Ward 2's council member sat right next to me. They're right next to him. Would be D. Sosa, the city manager.
Okay,
and then in the middle would be the mayor. And then next to the mayor would be the city clerk, and then Karen Tice, and then Kyle Hoyer. Those are the only people.
Kyle Hoyer was one that.
Yes.
Yeah, wanted to work with.
They're the only people on there.
Okay.
Kyle Hoyer offered an olive branch. Karen Tice, I already knew. Sidney Baden, he acted like my friend, very, old man type, very,
oh yeah,
gotcha. Very, very stern, but he was funny. Yeah. He was a fun guy to talk to. Notice he kind of needs to retire just for his own well-being, but he seems very tired, but it's okay. The city attorney, me and him were, perfectly fine. He actually helped me look over a lot of the forms that got put in my face whenever I had no idea what they meant. Because they give you these little sheets that you're supposed to fill out as a council member, that you're voting in favor or nay of. No one does it. It's just interesting because no one explained to me what you actually do. And I did not expect them to, going into a position, you are supposed to have a level of knowledge with it. But to me, I had a level of knowledge of governance, not municipal issues. Yeah. Just the way that they talked, it seemed like they were not about the same issues as I was.
Yeah.
It seemed there was an obvious disconnect there from the very beginning from what the priorities were. And that's how it pretty much was since all of them got on council. I think Kyle Hoyer has been there for, 17 years. D. Sosa, 18 or 20 now with the mayor. And Karen, God bless her soul, she's been there for a decade. And Sidney Baden was there for 12. So I think Raisa was there for, a decade or more as well. So it's
kind of, they were set in their ways.
They were very set in their ways. They all are. The city government has been the city government for 2+ decades. And even then, those people were a part of the group, per se.
It is very much a status quo.
Very much. Quo.
It seems like dominoes are kind of stacked against you at this point. Yeah.
Period. Dominated by men, especially.
And from the very moment that you got in there, you were kind of focused on, what would you call it? Just city infrastructure, things like that, the flood and everything. So I don't understand how you can get friction or resistance for that. I still don't see that.
Not knowing, because I will admit, I should have known how to go about organizing better. And I admit to not knowing that now. But even then, I did not like giving up. And I do not like giving up. I wanted to do, a gross cleanup day. And I did. It did not get as much traction, but it did get traction. But only a few people that I personally invited showed up. We went around and picked up a lot of debris, actually, throughout the city, just at a few houses. We organized a lot more so the city could come and pick them up. It really, I got friction for it because it was at the same time pretty much everything was happening. People thought I was just doing it to stave off the fact that, I was a nepotist.
Oh, because you were a cousin?
I was.
So that's where it started.
Yeah, I was. People would call me a nepotist, and then whenever the scandal happened, they would call me a pedophile, faggot, queer. Things would get a little bit more detrimental.
But that was like the beginning of...
Yeah, that was, they thought I was a puppet. But it wasn't to Jim Raisa. It was to Karen. They thought that, a little rumor came out, especially during like April, that Karen was secretly or wanting to take over the city.
So she put you up to it so she would have an extra vote.
Well, no, I'm not done yet. With her lesbian lover, who is my mother. So she wanted to put me and my mother into positions of the city so she could make more money for her business, the Courtyard Cafe. Yes.
Wow, dude, that's better than a Game of Thrones episode.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, that was a whole
So
mastermind.
So there was from the very beginning they were set against.
They had been like, and that's what we've found out. They probably came for me so hard. Probably kind of trying to get to Karen as well. They had been out for Karen for years. Kyle Hoyer tried to get her kicked off because of a water bill that she did not pay, quote unquote.
Just political leverage.
And just political leverage bullshit. And the same thing came around, the same thing came around now, calling her just because she has short hair. She's actually, a very strong woman. She's a very independent woman. And that's what scares them the most, I believe.
But what if she was gay? Like, what would that even matter?
To them, your sexuality doesn't mean anything, but apparently it does at the same time.
Oh, it does. It does if you can leverage something. I guess. Yeah.
What matters to them is it unbecoming? Of your office.
Oh my goodness.
That's what they called me. It was very unbecoming.
How about we take a little break and then we'll get into the juicy details.
The meat.
The scandal. Yeah.
Hey, these are the boys from the Box Content Podcast.
Hey.
A to Z Podcast Studios are funded in part by our patrons at Patreon. If you're interested in becoming a patron, head over to patreon.com/A to Z BMT. Bye.
All right, now we're in the break portion. This is where we shell out for the local government and kind of share some things that are going on in your community. And that's what we have coming up on November the 16th. That's a Saturday. It's going to be Sympathy of Southeast Texas at the Julie Rogers Theater.
Yeah, and we have Classic Series number 2 featuring Principal Violist Whitney Bullock. And we have like a little read they sent us. I'll share with you guys. Our musical spirits come to life with the music of Rossini, Mozart, and Vaughan Williams. Hear how Mozart's impressions live on in Rossini's Barber of Seville overture, based on the central character of Figaro from Rossini's opera. One of Mozart's final symphonies, number 39, reveals amazing influence his music had on future generations of composers. Single ticket sales will begin September 3rd, 2019. Yeah, so they have definitely been on sale for a while. And tickets are $32 to $52, and that it's going to be based on the seats and all that stuff. So throw on your suit.
Yeah.
Go
Get
down
fancy.
to Julie Rogers, make a date night of it, or
Take
go
old
by
Nance out.
yourself.
Yeah.
Get some culture under your belt, and you know what? Let's support our community and let's support the arts.
For more information and events, head on over to discoverbeaumont.com, and then we're going to get back to this episode with Mr. Cross Coburn.
They have people, but that's where that's just they need to answer to us. But just big issues, pro-choice.
Trying to actually figure out solutions to them.
I think we need to, and that's why I respect Jalen too, because whereas I am a big picture kind of person, I do like to plan. He gets down to the nitty gritty, and he likes to organize.
Yeah.
He likes to finalize.
This is step one.
This
Let's do
is
it
the
now.
statistics of it, and I mean, I can bring you the facts, but he'll bring you numbers. He will bring you exactly what the issue involves. And I can do that too, but God bless.
And he has a lot of enthusiasm too.
Oh my God, I love it.
He's not dead inside like us.
No, y'all seem very lively.
Yeah.
He's very involved with local politics too. Very involved with that more so, and I like that too, because we need more people, young people. Like you can always just look on the news and see what's happening in the White House, or you can see what's happening on the federal level.
But it doesn't even affect you.
Exactly.
Ever,
Ever.
Yeah, people are concerned about what doesn't affect them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It needs to be at the smaller level. That's why I like about him, because he really is. He's talked to Nick Lamson.
Local.
He's talked.
Community.
He's committed.
Organizer. You know who else was a community organizer? Obama.
Who's that? What?
You don't know who that is?
I don't know who that is.
It was this guy that.
It's a guy that has a 83% casualty civilian rate on
I was about to say,
drone bombings.
Can we talk about how many presidents just killed like 11 million people
all
together?
of them.
But it's
So many
fine.
innocent people.
All
It's
of them.
fine since
For all the
Roosevelt, but it's
greats agree.
fine.
My favorite president killed a lot of people.
Which one?
Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
He's one of my
Panama
favorite too.
Canal.
He killed a
Yep.
lot of Cubans. dude.
God, he killed a lot.
He's like, you know what? He's like, fuck it. I was born a warrior. I'm just gonna go ride
gonna
this horse and just
die a
mow
warrior.
people down.
I live for it.
Yeah.
My favorite president, one of them, but FDR. On Netflix, there's this little series, The Untold Story of the United States. It's a little bit more neutral.
Is that Oliver Stone?
It's Oliver Stone.
Oh dang.
I've gotten told, people on the right or people in the center, think it's propaganda. I like to think that, well, if you're smart enough, you can tell what is propaganda.
You can decipher. Yeah.
Exactly. You can decide for yourself if you.
Yeah,
it's-
kind of. I just found out that South Park is right wing
What?
propaganda.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. How'd you find that out?
What?
Somebody mentioned, and I was like, "What?" And I googled it, and it's like, yeah, because Cartman's like the main character, and he always is like always going after right wing ideas. So and they always seem to win. He always
Yeah,
seems to
but
make out.
Cartman is portrayed in a very negative light.
A lot of people like him.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. I don't know. All right. Well.
No, but-
A lot of
yeah,
people agree
president's
with
killed a lot of people. Woo.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Well, let's get back to it. Hey.
Yeah, we took a long break. Let's
That's fine.
get back to the portion.
So now it's to the nitty gritty. Now to the big scandal. So you're in there. You're doing your job. There hasn't been anything that's been done to like prevent you from doing your job. There's been a lot of things. They've been calling you a nepotist. A lot of rumors are circulating. They're obviously being dicks, I guess you could say. So what?
Very subtle dicks.
Yeah. What happened?
It was actually, it was relatively calm. I did not expect anything to happen, obviously. At least not to that magnitude. But I get a text. I worked for Waiter at the time. Still lived with my parents.
City council member working for Wayne.
Yeah, I know. Cool. Yeah, in a little 1993.
That's representative government.
Toyota. Yeah. If that does not scream middleman,
truly
come at me. I am a working person of the people. But I get a text from the city manager. He tells me that there is a personal matter that the mayor would like to discuss with me, and if I could come to the police office tomorrow morning by myself. He didn't say by myself, but like
unarmed,
alone. I was confused. Didn't know what he meant by that. So I immediately go to the Courtyard Cafe, actually, where I talked to Karen for a little bit, and then I immediately, just out of sheer fear, really, call my attorney. And I say sheer fear just because I did not know what he meant, and I called him asking if I could get the mayor's phone number, and let me go back real quick, because I'm pretty sure before I went and talked to my attorney, I was outside, and I ended up calling the mayor, and he had just told me that, there was an anonymous envelope that had been mailed to City Hall, 2 of them, apparently. We never found out what happened to the other one, but one of them was, according to him, he like screwed around the story a little bit. He saying that there was disturbing images found inside, a lot of disturbing content. Didn't know if there was like underage elements at play. It was just very, very disturbing. Didn't really know what to make of it. He wanted me to come down just because he wanted to discuss it, to see if he would have to involve the FBI or state troopers to start an investigation. So after that, that's when the sheer fear kind of sets in. I call my attorney, tell her what's happening. Well, without me even asking her, she says, "Okay, well, I'll meet you there tomorrow morning. Meet me there." Or we meet at the cafe beforehand. We talk a little bit. She asked me like, "What did you do?"
Or what do you think it is?
What do you what do you think it is? What do you think you did? And I was completely confused.
Yeah.
I'd really, at this point, I still had Grindr on my phone. I was single. I either had Grindr on my phone still at this point, or I had deleted it right before I got elected.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it was that one. It's so far back now. It's kind of and I hate to think in
retrospect.
That, it's just so much happened during that short little time span. It's very interesting, just going back.
Well, you just got elected on a fluke to your city council, so you probably some things are slipped.
Yeah. It's fun, but this is the 27th of February, or the 28th of February. So after we leave the cafe, we're going to the police station. We're sitting there. The mayor walks up, shakes our hands. Apparently, it was supposed to be him, the police chief, the city manager.
It's supposed to be a whole mob.
Yeah, the whole group, and me and my attorney. Well, he says, I got to go talk to the chief real quick. We go to the room, and it's just him and me and my attorney sitting around the table with him. He has an envelope in his hand. He has the envelope in his hand whenever he walks up the steps. He's very happy about that. I could tell. He pulls out the screenshots. There's a letter on top that says something to the effect of, "Is this any way a city council person should be acting? I just thought that the city council should be aware," something like that. And then under it is a conversation that I had with an individual, another consenting adult, on Grindr, just having a conversation about, stuff. And then, pictures are exchanged because I am an 18-year-old man and I have every right to do whatever I want with my body. Yeah. And that was really that. And it didn't even, the screenshots were just tidbits. They were just little, it was not the entire conversation. I could not make out the conversation. It was just random messages between me and this person, and then the pictures. And then, there was one picture of me shirtless, and then 2 profile pictures and 2 other pictures. hands them to my attorney, and according to her, okay, she's like, the first thing that I thought, whenever he just showed me, I was like, okay, so it's a penis. I was like, okay, she's an attorney.
Like, I'm relieved. I thought it was gonna be really bad.
Like, literally, and to me, whenever I saw the Grindr like messages, it's like, wait, what? So you're serious about this? To be on Grindr, you have to be 18,
right?
And at the time, I'd already turned. Okay, yeah, I'm already 19 at this point because November 20th is my birthday. I had gotten elected literally days before, so I'm 19. I was a 19-year-old guy. It's just whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure this conversation did not happen like days before the screenshots got leaked.
I'm glad I didn't get into politics when I was 19. Shit.
It
would have been
fun.
2 days later that would have happened to me.
That's what I'm talking about. Like where most people, even whenever they are older now, if you grew up with cell phones, or if you grew up with a camera, there's chance.
A naked photo of you.
Like there's usually
even the older people, they had Polaroids.
Exactly.
Okay.
Even if you did not take
there was only one guy.
a nude, there are plenty of people in this world that have. And it is to me and to most of my generation that I've talked to, it's just the body.
It's how we date now.
I find this to be a very interesting thing because we hear about this all the time in the media whenever people get hacked, like celebrities get hacked and they get their nudes stolen and things like that. It just happened to a girl named Bella Thorne. It just happened to her. It was a big deal, because she went on Twitter and she was like, "Hey, I got hacked, and since some stupid asshole wants to hack me, I'm just going to go ahead and dump them, and I'm going to post them, right?"
So you have no power over me.
She gets applauded for it. But the thing is, in these situations, these people are held up as a victim because they are a victim. They get hacked. These are private things that are going on. And then somebody, against their will, is making them public.
Exactly.
I find it very strange that people are going on the offensive for you for the things that are usually like you are the victim in this situation. Someone is sharing your private information.
We haven't even gotten that far yet. We're just at like the presentation.
That's true. I guess I'm skipping.
But going back to that real quick, it was stupid how Whoopi Goldberg criticized her for it because Bella Thorne took.
Goldberg still a thing?
She is still a thing. The View is apparently the most important political show in America. And it does not need to be. But getting back to that, he just shows me it. Me and Jill. She tells me not to say anything. And I almost do say something. I was like, wait, what? Or
it's a good thing you had your lawyer.
Like, oh, okay. Or I was like,
so what? You're sitting at a table and they hand them to you and you look at them and it's just like...
It's just that.
What the hell are they expecting?
If I
expect an immediate resignation.
That really was what they were hoping. And if I would not have come...
Did they say we're going to make you look bad or something like that? Or is it just like, this isn't good, what are you going to do about it?
What we thought
I tell you right now...
They're trying to seem...
If you wouldn't have had your lawyer with you, you would have found out immediately.
If I would have came alone, and this is what we thought, or came up with, if I would have came alone, it would have been a police officer in the corner, the police chief, the city manager, the mayor, and then me, surrounded by all of them. And they would have browbeat me until I resigned right then and there, and that would have been the end of it. They would probably made everything go away, and that would have been it. But that is not what happened that day. My attorney...
Were they saying that they wanted to out you or something?
No, it was not out. And that was the funniest thing about everything. Whenever it did get leaked, the media made it seem... Gay councilman outed by nude photos.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone in the city, if you asked me, I said I was gay. It was not that important. But it was apparently. But it's okay.
Well, it makes his story more appealing.
A lot more appealing, because that was on the damn headline of everything.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Outed by nudes or photos, and it was just funny. I mean, every interview I would have to tell them, I was like, I don't know who you outed, but it was not me.
Yeah.
So we just talk for about 20 minutes, him just really bullshitting with my attorney. He takes us on a tour of the police station, and then we finally leave. She says, you did nothing illegal. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I didn't.
Yeah.
I would have, that instance, I would have figured out something. But he treated it as if there was something terrible with the photos, that, there was underage people involved, or... It just
highly embarrassing.
Very embarrassing.
Yeah.
We leave. The day ends. 2 days go by, I'm at the cafe again, and I get a call from the mayor. I think this is either Saturday or Sunday. And he tells me that the city attorney and him were talking, and they think I need to make a decision by this Wednesday.
Decision to resign or not?
I haven't got to that part yet. I just tell him I was confused, and I said, okay. I hung up, and I said, give me some time to think about it, and I'll call you back.
What was the decision?
I don't know. That's the thing. I was like, I looked at Karen. I was like, what am I deciding? And then I I called him back. After that, I was like, Mayor, what am I deciding on? And he said,
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Mayor. And and this is like, he just goes off on me. He says, well, now I'm getting pissed. And I was like, well, why are you doing that? He said, you got to grow up. You can't keep running away from your past. Let's something or another.
Like, I'm 18 years old.
I was like, what are you talking about?
What past do I have?
What past? Let's see. You'd have to take responsibility for your actions. Yada yada yada. You need to make a decision on resigning. And I just thought, okay. We go back and forth for a little bit, and then I tell him, well, Mr. Mayor, I am not going to resign. Thank you. He said, well, that's just great. Now we can start an investigation. I was like, all right, well, you have a great day. And then I hung up. And that was the end of diplomatic relations for a while, I'm pretty sure. I get a call, I think a week or so later. The Port Arthur News calls me, telling me that they had
a letter show up too.
They received an anonymous envelope.
That's what I'm saying. They had a letter
no return address. And then a few hours later, Channel 6 calls me, and Beaumont Enterprise calls me. They all want interviews. Gotta love it. My attorney, unfortunately, is in
at least
Thailand.
we waited. We had respect.
Say, yes, y'all waited until everything happened.
Yes, that's right. We're the tactful media.
Yes, consideration is best. And I hate that. My attorney was in Thailand at this point.
Must be nice.
Yeah, I was
Nice.
like, I'm glad that you went to Thailand.
Law school.
You know,
You get
just
something out of it.
I was like, my God, being a lawyer sounds sweet. You get to piss old white men off and go to Thailand. But what was it?
But all the media outlets got an envelope. Yeah,
we go on that as she's in Thailand. So I decided to go on Channel 6 and do my first interview about it. In retrospect, I should have articulated myself a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I felt very strongly about how I felt. And the first thing I remember saying, I just told them, I apologize for it happening, but this is my personal life, and I'm sorry if anyone was offended by what happened or what they saw.
Yeah.
But I was not apologizing for my actions.
Right.
No.
Right.
I was
Did nothing wrong.
I was apologizing for the fact that they were subjected to this idiocy whenever their city was still dealing with a hurricane. But, that didn't matter, obviously. These were the photos. That shirtless photo everybody thought was a full nude.
Dude, we live in Southeast Texas. You can see that at the
So
creek
there
of the
were
river
no
any day.
nudes. It was just
It was that. I mean, no one ever actually saw the nudes. Wow. Honestly, the nudes were from the internet. They weren't even me.
That's just a post workout photo on Instagram. That's all that is.
A post.
That's literally all that is a post workout selfie.
Like, honestly, let me.
so those are the ones that were in the envelopes.
Yes, those were the ones. Plus
But the fact that they were on Grindr.
the screenshots of the conversation.
Yeah.
But so I had interview with KFDM. A lot of people were in support. A lot of people were criticizing me. I got told that I was too young. That was the biggest argument besides the fact of what was going on. And the other argument...
So wait, they used that time to bring up the complaint that you were too young to be a city council member?
Then.
Okay.
Because I had a conversation with another adult. But, what was it? After that was the next council meeting. Whenever I walk into the council meeting, it's... Okay. Pretty much the entire history of the city. there, most council meetings, there have maybe been 3 or 4 or 5 people. A little bit more, a little bit less. Yeah. The, people, the few that actually care. This time it was packed outside the door.
Wow.
To the door, full of people. I, went through it. And afterwards, Jill told me very, very nice how you went through a crowd of people where half of them hated you and the other half admired you.
And you kept your composure?
I very much tried to. I like to just remain stoic during those encounters. I like to think I can put on a very mean blank face. But that was a fun night because at the end of it, the mayor, God love him in all his glory, had to speak on it, says that what I did was not illegal, so there will be no repercussions on the city side, no shit. But that the citizens...
Meaning you can't do anything.
But he was like doing a call to arms. He was but the citizens can have a petition if they like.
Can have a recall petition that has to be citizen driven and the city cannot be involved. Bullshit again. But that, the only way to do it is to get the required amount of signatures and recall me in November. So that happens that night. I think, around May. Pretty much everything was relatively
this is like 6
quiet.
months after you've been in the spot for half a year.
Yeah, I was in the spot. February happens. That's whenever it starts. March was really just getting everything together, just trying to figure out what had happened. Then April comes around, and I think April was one of the council meetings. Then William Howlett, the guy who started the petition against me, that he comes up that night and, announces to everyone that he will be starting the recall petition to oust me. This old man comes up that same night and just rails me, pretty much calls me unbecoming youngster or something. I can't remember what he said. My attorney in the audience gets up, and if you have any questions for Councilman Coburn, you can direct them towards me as I currently represent him to the fullest. That was fun. All of these engagements were just really got the adrenaline going.
Oh yeah.
It was just not that it was just, you don't like that happening. You don't. No matter.
Well, people are mad at you for nothing that you did nothing wrong. And these people are super upset.
And at the time, I really did think, they are right to be upset. And some of the people, they have very legitimate concerns. I was a 19-year-old guy, had no previous experience. But at the same time...
Yeah, but then criticize that, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. If that's your problem, then say that. You don't have to...
Exactly. But at the same time, it's like this
19-year-old circus, No,
I agree. Yeah. This 19-year-old gay guy spoke up and wanted to run for city council. I never saw any of you people in those meetings before my nudes got leaked to the media. And that's just the tea. Did y'all care?
Cross's nudes bring all the citizens to the meetings?
And I mean, they kind of did.
Yeah, it kind of did, yeah.
And it was not all of me, thank God. Harvey.
Yeah.
Like, people were pissed. People were hurt. Like, entire neighborhoods were just underwater and then left to rot. Entire houses. And like, neighbors just, left, obviously, for good reason. But I mean, they didn't have a house to come back to. And then the houses that were left were just there to fall apart. The city did nothing. There were just droves of trash and debris just everywhere. And they said that they were at capacity.
A lot of people got downgraded from homeowner to landowner.
Yeah, very much that.
So how does it get so everybody's pissed, showing up at the meetings. So I guess they organize some kind of recall?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. A character that will become more important is Suzanne Williamson. She was one of the people that did. Most of the people actually did go to the meetings for the problems that happened in the city. It was just after everything had happened that even more people showed up for the scandal. But she gets up there and talks about drainage, talks about the streets, talks about the potholes. Really resonates with people because it's the actual issues of the city.
Yeah.
Our infrastructure is falling apart. We have entire culverts just filled to the brim with just stuff. Like, it was just, this is the real stuff. And so, yeah, everybody's pissed. He starts the petition. By the next meeting, May comes around, is whenever they certify it. He announces the petition, but they have to certify it.
Yeah.
And, after he certifies it, then all the people start signing their names. It was a citizen-driven petition, but very soon we get reports of Brad Bailey going to a salon with the petition and just handing it to people, telling them to sign it because we have to get me out. Brad Bailey.
No, this was a private citizen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. William Hallett started the petition, but very early on we got reports of, the mayor passing out petition sheets, his wife doing it. They would go up to people in Cheddar's. They went up to people, in the salon that I mentioned. He went up to my attorney once whenever they were eating at the Wheelhouse. Oh, I'm sorry.
It makes it all.
I apologize.
No, you're fine.
He goes up to her and he just, according to her, like he says,
goes up to people in the Wheelhouse. You mean in Port Neches?
Yeah,
not even in the same city.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. He goes up to her, just says hi, and I think asks like how much it would take for her to work for him or something like that nature. But like, this is what like she notices. Like whenever they go to shake hands, he like crushes her damn hand, like just squeezes, like trying to show the dominance there.
Sounds like good old boys. That's good old boy technique.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Man,
that
we're from
you
Hardin
say
County, man. We know all about that.
We know all about
that's
the
the
good old
funny
boys,
because that's what everybody calls them now. The Good Old Boys Club.
It is a good
That's
old boys.
exactly what they are.
It's a system, yeah.
I
Good
hate
old boy
that.
system.
But yeah, it was just a little stuff like that. Just kept on coming out.
So they're just using intimidation tactics.
Yeah, just one by one, or one after another.
Yeah, wholesale petition tactics. Yeah.
Kyle Hoyer circulates the petition. He's another council member. Melinda Baden, Sidney Bain's wife, circulates the petition. Just rumors start. Those whenever the rumors really start picking up.
Yeah.
Just stuff comes out. There's this man called Trevor Noyola. He's actually my stepfather's cousin.
Sounds kind of nepotistic to me.
I was going to say, he goes on a very hard rant about how how Brad Bailey and Kyle Hoyer and William Hallett are just the saviors of the city and how we have to give them their undivided support because of the unbecoming and nepotist nature. Like, they just regurgitate the same words, really. But it is not, I don't think he said nepotism because I don't think he knows what it means. But he said something unbecoming and just he didn't call me dumb.
Beneath the honor of
them. He was trying to make them, he talked them up to such a degree. And then I'm really just naming people at this point because there are so many people involved in the story.
Yeah.
But Sean Escabane, he is a very unique dude. He likes to record the meetings.
Is that the guy that got the camera tossed?
Yes.
Oh,
he's the guy that got the camera tossed.
Feels like he's a historian, I'm sure.
He's a journalist.
I keep
without
the public record. Yeah.
It's kind of strange because it's a law that you have to record all city council.
Yep.
Mm-hmm, it is now.
The mayor has tried to make it as
there's a deadline on it too.
Possible.
Also,
Yeah.
What?
There's a deadline on that law. You have to.
Really?
You have to not only record
That
all
day,
of
I
them,
wanna say.
but you have to post
it
them
online
on the internet.
Yes, and he does. Yeah, we have Grove's politics page where he posts all of his stuff. But so yeah, just one thing after another. It really was. We were just following a breadcrumb trail this entire time, and it was really interesting just seeing it work because.
Just trying to figure out who started it, why is it happening,
why?
What did you find out?
This is what you're doing to try to find out if you have some sort of like case on your hands, legal action.
Legal
Well, I mean,
action.
not even looking for like revenge or anything like that. We're dealing with. It's just like it seems like you probably felt like why is this happening to me?
Well,
Like,
people are conspiring.
It was
against
upsetting.
You. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
No,
There's
for
people
sure.
that are conspiring against.
Not
like
even
you went into it with good intentions, and people are screwing you around.
I thought it was a test, and I still continue to think that it was a test. And I like to think that I at least passed the test with a B. But you only think about it so much, or really me, I did my best to cope with the entire situation. Obviously, I don't look like I did in the pictures. I've lost around 75 pounds.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, I hate to say, has been due to stress, I think. There were pretty much weeks that I did not eat. Most days, I just, drink. I used to drink a shit ton of soda, though, because of anxiety and just because it tastes good.
Mm-hmm.
I got rid of that, and that helped, too. It's just... not even going on that little tangent. It was just little things that I noticed in myself, because I had never been skinny before in my life. I was always the chubby kid in high school and in middle school. And then I have all these people just telling me that I look so damn different and that I need to eat more. And
you do look a lot different than you did in the
that's funny. My mom still tells me that I'm too skinny, and they just worried at this point. And honestly, at this point, the breadcrumb trail, one thing after another happening, and I do mean like one thing after another happening, is just, I kind of became a recluse in my apartment.
Yeah.
You
kind of had to separate yourself.
Who would not?
know,
Because it was just probably one thing after the other.
it was.
And there wasn't anything you can do to stop it.
Not at all.
And you obviously you didn't win the petition. So
And whenever it did start, whenever the petition started, I did decide to start my own campaign. Oh, right. I forget about him. At this point, it was before the Texas Monthly article came out, but it was way before
an
that.
Article in Texas Monthly.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
about
wow.
it.
Wow.
But John Scott, he is a media consultant from Boston, I was about to say Boston, Texas.
Austin?
Boston, Texas.
Austin?
Austin.
It's a good road trip,
yeah.
reference there.
But he offered his services to us out of the gracious kindness of his heart. And me and him and Jill started to talk, became a team. He really helped refine the way that I spoke. And at least, because I still don't know how to talk most of the time. But with him, I could stay on message. Because before then, I could stay on message, but I was still a kid.
Yeah.
And anxiety is still a very real thing. And it was just, I would go from one topic to another. And I still do. But he really did help teach me how to articulate what I wanted to say and how I wanted to give off my message. But, he's helping us. We're trying to figure out what's going on. The petition is still happening.
So it's still going on right now.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
at this time in
Oh, yes. Yeah. It's still happening.
Well, what would be the thing? Would it be if your petition got more signatures than the other petition, then it would be null and void? I don't.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah,
don't really understand the legalities.
No,
of it,
yeah.
Yeah.
They had to.
It's like, why would their petition even matter in the first place? I'm not.
They have to get 10% of the registered voters in Groves, and that
okay.
amounted to.
That was probably
Yeah.
a substantial number.
No, yeah, 954.
Oh.
Out of a
That seems-
population of 18,000.
So they just went to every church in town.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Kind of. Wow. There you go. But
Well, I mean,
no, yeah.
that was the big push in the story.
Yeah.
Push back. To
Oh, really?
Your thing is
Yeah.
like he's gay, and we don't want that in city council.
Oh, yeah. And another big player. It's just one thing after another,
Yeah.
obviously. Joe Worley is the pastor of the First Baptist Church. I went to St. Peter's Catholic Church whenever I was younger, and I knew the Father Kuhn. He's the priest there. According to this other man, his last name is Cox. He's a pastor of a non-denominational church in Groves. A very sweet man, actually, but he tells us that all the pastors and priests of the city get together whenever it comes out.
A meeting convened.
A meeting convened of all the spiritual leaders
under
of
the light
city.
of the full moon.
Yeah, in Joe Worley's office. They talk about, how they feel about it. Not all of them agree with Worley, but they, he obviously is against it. He actually invites me to his office, and I'm telling all this as much in chronological order as I can. It's just things are coming back to my mind as I remember. But he invites me to his office. Can't remember when, but Jill tells me that I should go. So I go. Very, very interesting meeting. I'm pretty sure he's gay, if I can just honestly say that. But it's just the way these men give off themselves. And it's also the way they look at you. It's so weird. But, he talks to me. It's just so weird. He just talks to me, tells me how it may be in my best interest to resign, and come back whenever I'm wiser, older, this has all been pushed under, or has all blown over. A lot of people feel that way, and he can give me his word that he can make the mayor and William Howlett stop the petition if I would just issue a public apology to the people of Groves and resign by the end of December 2018. So finish...
For what?
Finish my term up. Finish that year term and then resign. I obviously don't want to do that. What's funny is, he's not the only one. My former priest tells me the same thing, how it should, it would be in my best interest. Best interest is the key word. Because every time they
sound like mobsters.
Exactly.
Honestly.
Every time they said that, it just made me want to.
In your best interest,
It just made me want to do it more.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Well, you're kind of seeing that, like, well, probably not looking good, so might as well just fight.
Might as well. Yeah, that's all I thought. Is resigning was never a thought in my mind because at that point my nudes were already out there.
Yeah.
What else do you have over me?
Yeah.
Because to begin with, you didn't have anything over me, but you made it into something. Why would I just go quietly into that good night?
These
I've
people,
said that before.
These people have no idea what a bargaining chip is.
Not at all.
That's the strange thing. Is like
they just threw that out.
Yeah, very inefficient.
So what's the resolution of this whole thing? It's like the petition.
Okay, yeah, the petition gets certified. They get the signatures.
How much do they get?
Let's see.
They probably get over what they needed.
It was not 954.
I want to hear it.
No, I
they
agree.
had to struggle. I hope there was like a last minute where they're just like, God.
And that's what we thought happened because Trevor Nola, after all of it gets certified or finalized, he goes on Facebook and says that citizens of Groves, I have great news that, we have gotten way more than the required amount of signatures, which added up to like 1,900, 1,092. Bullshit. What the city clerk is supposed to do is go through the petition, and if a petition is not valid, then you do not count it. In the rest of this state, apparently, if one signature is not valid, the entire page is not valid, which sounds more democratic to me, but that's fine. Just because of...
And they have multiple sheets, right?
No, yeah, they have...
There'd be like a sheet with like 10 signatures, one with...
Stack, yeah.
One with 30.
The page that looks like just your printed name, your signature, your date of birth, your your voter registration number... that's it, or something. Yeah, one more thing. You have to have all those correct for it to be a valid signature. Otherwise, it should be, counted off. I think the finalized results was like 800 or no.
Like after they did, like
checked.
Yeah.
After they threw some of them away, they didn't pass the
They
smell
did not
check,
throw nearly as many as they needed to away, but they did throw. She did mark out a few that were obvious, but if I had the stack, I could just show you just the errors. There was one page. My dad's name was Chris Coburn. There was a page where the person that they were petitioning, his name was Chris Coburn, and then on the finalized version, you can see where they tried to go back and not rewrite, like just go over it with pen and make the H look like a damn R and the I look like an O. The two S's just to make it look like cross. And it was just shit like that. That was obvious. She did not mark it out for whatever reason. But yeah, they get the amount of signatures that they need. So, I'm going up on the ballot in November. Oh, there was something. Oh yeah, we were trying to challenge it in court so that the petition wouldn't go on the ballot because
it was invalid.
It was invalid. It was stupid. That did not work, obviously. Yeah. So we would wait until the election results. I was at the cafe that night. But whenever I had started my own campaign, not even to run for re-election, but to defend myself.
To call out this bullshit.
Period. And I made signs, and all it said was keep Coburn. He works for Groves. Vote against the recall. And that's all it was, and I stuck them in every house that would allowed me to in Groves, and there were a lot of them, surprisingly, and I appreciated that. But, election night comes around, and according to the results, 2/3 of people voted to recall me. Out of a city of 18,000 people, only 4,000 voted.
That's a good turnout, actually.
Yeah, I know. As I say, it's like that's actually a lot more than usual.
So what's so you got it? It happened.
Yep.
You're out.
I was out.
And so did you feel a relief of being passed? I know it didn't feel good.
No, I know. Yeah. Well, like going back real quick. Sorry. Suzanne Williamson. I mentioned her before. She actually decided to run against Brad Bailey.
The one who was saying all the things. And
yes, about the drainage and roads.
Right.
What had happened?
She found her specific time to shine.
Yeah, and she did. What had happened 2 weeks before? 2 weeks before the pictures got leaked, she gets a message from Kyle Hoyer on Facebook saying something. What was it?
Saying, better not be scared. This will happen to you too.
Mike, period. Telling her just, what would you do? He said he was just trying to convince her to run for my seat. He was telling her, would you be interested in running for Ward 1? He showed her, or he told her what was about to happen. Or, like, if this got leaked to the media, would be bad. And he told, he told her that the city had gotten an envelope.
Yeah. Oh, before it ever happened.
Yes. So she knew.
That's the kicker.
So she knew. But see, what we pretty much guessed was, he was just trying to get her to run against
That's
me.
What we call the smoking gun.
Exactly. Put more merit on the fact that we think that it was him that leaked it. So she turns it down. But not right away. She talks to me. She comes to that meeting. She decides, that she does not want to run against me. Her and Jill were actually friends whenever they were children, and Kyle Hoyer did not know that. So that happens. Her and Jill reconnect. She decides not to run against me. She decides to run against Bailey. Problem is, whenever election night comes, it seems like, she has a lot of support. There are a lot of people throughout the city that want to see her win. It's, just only 4,000 people voted. I think he wins. Oh, but another person, Kalen Ramos, also decided to run for the mayoral race. He did not need to, but he ended up sapping 6 points away from what could have been what could have been Suzanne's. She could have won right then and there, but she didn't. So it would have been a runoff election. She decides to drop out because in her view, and I agree with her now, I had lost. Kyle Hoyer had won his race against his opponent. Sidney Baden was still in office. Karen was the only one there. It would have just been Karen and Suzanne with 3 votes that outnumbered them. And she decided, just to step down. Me, I would have loved to see Bailey get beat, and she would have won. But that's, neither here nor there. So, that happens. I'm out. We don't, obviously don't stop we're going to, fight the petition. And that's whenever everything happens in June. We're just getting depositions at this point.
Yeah.
That's whenever Jill starts getting subpoenas together. We have depositioned the city clerk, the mayor's wife, William Howlett, and a lot of other people that I was not even there for. And we just start to see like the picture that they were doing in their heads. Kenny McAdams, just someone near their hair. I graduated with her from high school. She was a grade below me whenever we were in high school. She ends up taking the petition, who has her father's signature signed at the bottom. This is a sworn election document, a federal election document, swearing that, he was the one who certified these signatures, or that got these signatures. But I have another friend, Gabriel Patton, who is a witness, saying, he did sign the petition. He did it under pressure, though. She got all of them in a circle and, sent it around, but only 2 people signed it. So that was just one thing. They did just a lot of shady stuff.
Yeah.
That obviously contradicted the whole fact of the, citizen-driven recall petition.
No. It was a council-driven.
Very council-driven. William Howlett was just a puppet.
It was a campaign.
Yep.
Yeah.
We found out later from William Howlett that him and the mayor had met at Dairy Queen to go over the do's and don'ts.
They're lovers.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
The recall petition. Just talking about it. It was just, it really was a bread trail of a story, but that gets, the court decides it does not matter. So that fails.
So just because we got a meeting coming up.
Oh, okay.
But just to kind of like tie a bow.
I'm sorry that I am talking.
No, it's
so
fine.
much.
No, you're fine. What so has it? How is it? How do you feel?
How do you feel? How do you feel now? After there's some distance, after you've got some time, do you feel relief? Do you feel accomplished in any sort of way that you did resist as long as you could?
I know I've thought about that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
You go through a lot of periods with yourself, and I hate talking about myself because I'm a very extroverted person. But I am also invert, so I just don't, and I'm a Scorpio, so I don't like talking about anything. But it made, if anything, God, it just made me more convinced that I can't quit. I don't.
That's good.
I'd rather die than not live a life fighting. I don't see any point in this reality that, we just inhabit, this world that we just inhabit. I don't want a desk job. I'd pull my hair out. I don't want to be a teacher as I thought I would want to be. I don't want to be an astronomer. I don't want to be like a pet veterinarian. I want to make policy.
So you still want to be in politics?
Oh my God, yes. And I still plan to be.
You might have learned a few tricks from those shady motherfuckers.
Very. And one that I would never implement.
Right yeah.
Some that I can defend against now. And it's that, does that not just prove that we have to be involved? The fact that these old white men that have never been challenged in their life, and I say that, I'm a white man. To me, there is such a difference. Their mindset is just terrifying to me. Like, how can
the good old boys.
The good old boys.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how you can be so content in your little bubble, and that's fine. That's most of Washington D.C. That's most of the Democratic and
Republican
actually
just
Party.
Most people.
Exactly. And now that I've noticed,
that's a human thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And not to say that's not to say that's bad. It's whenever you try to destroy other people's lives that it's a problem. But I don't hold any contempt for any of them. I'm a very neutral person whenever it comes to, obviously.
Yeah. You really could have come on here and just railed against people and stuff like that. But you've actually been quite civil when you're speaking against these people that were attacking you.
I like to think there's no point in lowering myself because on Facebook and Twitter, I've given my fair share of, smart ass jabs, but it's, I like to think that there needs to be a new standard on elected officials. I should be able to live my life. I should be able to have a private life. I should be able to, be with who I want, but I should be held accountable by and to you. My public life needs to be separate from my private life, but my public life needs to be my life. And what I'm, that really is me. To me, politics is fun. History is fun. Government is fun. It would be the job that I would love doing, helping us, fighting for the change that we do need to see. And that's really just what it has made me feel. It's made me feel more determined. I don't honestly know what the future holds because, as a kid, I had a very strict plan. I was going to be council member, maybe mayor, maybe county commissioner after that. Then, oh my God, Governor Abbott, I'm coming for your job. And then congressman, and then, something after that. But at this point, I've, all of this happening, I do still want to go into, the federal government, but it needs to be more than that. It needs to be about the people. And that is why, you asked me if I'm a Democrat. I'm probably the most quote unquote liberal person, but I'm not a liberal. I'm probably one of the most left people, but I don't consider myself a leftist. I hate the labels that we've put on ourselves. That's what the Red Scare was. That's what the McCarthyism was.
That's what they were trying to do to you.
Exactly. And, that the gay kid who was unbecoming of his seat, that's what I was. The nepotist of Karen Tice. But all I was trying to do that entire time was prove to them that, no, I can measure up to these old men. I just don't have to talk as much. And that's how it was. I never tried to be immature. I knew that I would say some things that other people would find to be disrespectful or smart. But at the same time, when were any of these people respectful to me? The stuff that I had said, or the stuff that I have said, is fairly light to the stuff that I have been subjected to. I'm not even trying to play the victim card, because I don't believe in the victim card. But I mean, if you're going to hold me to a standard, hold all of you to a standard. Because the meeting that they certified the petition, there was a man in the hallway who just said, "Good, now we can get that faggot out of office." I mean, it's there. We have not gotten rid of any of the systemic problems, and that's why I don't want to blow up the system. I want to reform it. I want to make it into the system that that's pretty promised us.
That's refreshing. That's pretty refreshing.
There's a difference between wanting to completely have a hostile takeover of the government and then on the other side of the aisle just wanting to do incremental change that does nothing but kill the planet in 10 years and leaves most of us in poverty and transmits all the wealth to the top. I am to the left, but I am in the middle in just about everything. But it's just because the conversation that we had about rifles and pistols, we have to talk. Because my boyfriend, my God, he tells me, he's on the left too, but he believes in compromise, and we're never going to get anywhere unless we compromise. And I completely agree with him. The government that we have now does not care about compromise, though. The Republicans, for sure, the Democrats, they all get paid by the same people. To me, it's about overthrowing that system. It's about overthrowing the greed in our system, and that would really be one of my biggest talking points, fighting points.
Well, I think those are all things that you came across in this experience that you've had in Groves. It's kind of funny.
Unparalleled greed.
Small town, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even tell y'all. Oh, I'm sorry. But
sorry. Yeah.
$1 million is missing also.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, that's why you threw the camera.
Yeah, from the Harvey funds.
You don't want to know how much money is missing from Beaumont.
My God. I forgot about that.
Let's just go ahead and say shame on you, Orange City Council.
It's not Orange, it's Groves, bro.
Groves City Council? Shane,
All right, I'm gonna say thanks for coming on.
Thanks for coming.
Cross.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for standing up for yourself. Honestly, really, that's kind of what it was. That's what I got out of this story. Is you reduce everything down. You stood up for yourself.
Yeah,
and
regardless of the outcome, it's like
regardless of the outcome,
you didn't just capitulate to their bullshit.
You stay classy. So thanks for coming on, and thanks for talking to us,
I'd
man.
say the same for all of us.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you do something in the future. Whatever it be.
I'd love to do something in the future
for sure.
We'll see how that goes. Thank y'all.
All right, thanks, Cross. Thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for sharing your story. I know it was a rough thing for you to go through, but we appreciate you coming in here and kind of just like laying it all out there.
Yeah, thanks for all your honesty and everything else too. It was usually this is a point where we say it was like a really fun time, but I mean it wasn't fun, but it was cool. Yeah. And we appreciate you. And also we want to do a special shout out to our patrons. We have Jordan Stringer, Lance Killian, Brian Castino, Doug Waldrop, Michael Sarr, Ben McClellan, Randy Edwards, Allie Gillette, Allison Pierce, and Lauren Bebo.
Yay!
You know what? These guys do a whole lot to help us do what we do and bring you guys the content that we always do. Mm-hmm. And if you're interested in becoming a patron like any one of these superheroes we just mentioned, head on over to patreon.com/A to Z BMT, where you can pledge $1 or any amount you want, reoccurring or one time.
Yeah.
Help us out, and we'll keep bringing you the stuff.
Doing this
and we'll bring you the content we keep bringing you.
And we're gonna still keep doing it anyway. With next episode being Dan Chris Games, he brought on his game Tavern Master, and we played it. It's a video episode. We're gonna start doing those more often. But this one will be really cool because the second half we get to play the game with him, and we have like a top-down tabletop view, and it's really, it was
a fun time. It's really cool.
Sweet. We get to talk about card games, how they're made, how he got into it, and it's going to be a good time.
And that episode really helped remind us about how even though we're normalized to our area and we see everybody all the time and we think we know everybody, it's funny how there's just a guy making board games just right down the road. And that leads me to say that if you guys have somebody that you think would be a good fit,
very nice,
send them our way. There's so many people doing so many cool things in our area, and we really need you guys' help to highlight them. So if you know somebody doing some cool ass stuff and we don't know about them, hit us with that phone number, Zach. What's that phone number?
409-206-2971.
Give us a call if you want. Send us a text, slide in our DMs, send us a carrier pigeon, smoke signals. We don't care. Just get at us.
We need some guests. Make it happen.